Hallelujah, Shem Adonai, Ki nizkar Shemo levado, Hodo al eretz v'shamayim, vayarem keren le'amo, teila lecho chasidav, Livnei Yisrael, Am Kerovo. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Mizmor leDavid. Havul Adonai b'nei. Havul Adonai kavod laos. Havul Adonai kavod shemo. Ishtachavu Adonai behadrat kodesh. Kol Adonai al hamayim el hakavod hirim. Adonai al mayim rabim. Kol Adonai ba'koach. Kol Adonai behadar. Kol Adonai shover arazim. Vayishaber Adonai et orzei alavanon. Vayarkidem kemo hegel. Lebanon v'Sirion kemo ben re'emim. Kol Adonai choser l'havodesh. Kol Adonai yachil midbar. Yachil Adonai midbar kodesh. Kol Adonai yechol ayalot. V'chesov yerot. Yecholo kulo. Homer kavod. Adonai lamabu. Yashav vayeshev Adonai melech le'olam. Adonai oz le'amo yiten. Adonai yevarech et amo b'shalom. Etayimi lama chazikim ba v'tomchea meushar derachea darchei noam v'chol netziboteha shalom hashivenu Adonai Elecha v'nashuva Kadesh Kadesh Yameinu Kadesh Yameinu Kekedesh.
I'd like to invite everybody to please take your seats. Once again, I want to wish everybody Shabbat Shalom. It's great to be back, bathed in the full light of our sanctuary. Never a dull moment here. So I'm sure, like a lot of people here, I have seen the movie The Wizard of Oz multiple times. I've probably lost count of how many times I've seen it. And no matter how many times I see it, my favorite character, hands down, has got to be the Cowardly Lion. And there's a couple reasons for that, by the way. The first one is that thanks to Bert Lahr's over-the-top performance, the Cowardly Lion is by far the funniest character in the whole movie. He gets all the good laugh lines. For me, that's a very appealing factor just in and of itself. But also, I think that of all the storylines in the movie, I really find the storyline of the Cowardly Lion the most compelling. When we meet the Cowardly Lion, he is literally afraid of his own shadow. But slowly, without even realizing it, the Cowardly Lion finds his courage, almost in spite of himself. He never stops acting scared throughout the entire movie, but Nonetheless, he shows some real bravery as the movie goes on, particularly those last scenes in the witch's castle. In the end, the Cowardly Lion receives a medal of commendation testifying to his courage from the Wizard of Oz. But it's not really that medal that transforms the Cowardly Lion. It's the knowledge that being brave is not about banishing fear, but it's about acting courageously in spite of the fear. And if I asked you to give some examples of courageous people in the Torah, I imagine you'd probably come up with Moses, Abraham, Joseph, maybe the midwives in Egypt. I'd be willing to bet a considerable sum that nobody here would nominate Nachshon ben Aminadav. And yet, if you look at our tradition, Nachshon ben Aminadav is actually the exemplar, the role model for what it means to be courageous in the face of danger. Now, there's a lot of reasons we might not think of Nachshon ben Aminadav off the top of our heads. The main one is that, as the Torah tells it, there is nothing that distinguishes Nachshon ben Aminadav as an especially brave person. If we just look at what's written, what little is written in the Torah about him. We know he's the chieftain of the tribe of Judah, which is an important and a powerful position. We know that he helps Moses conduct the census of all the males over the age of 20 who are eligible to go out into battle when the Israelites conquer the land of Israel. And in this morning's Torah reading, we learn that Nachshon was the first of all of the tribal chieftains to make a dedication offering during the festival of dedication of the altar of sacrifice. That's really all the Torah tells us about Nachshon. What the Torah doesn't tell us, and what really interests the rabbis, is why of all the chieftains of the tribes is Nachshon selected as the one to make the first offering on the 12-day dedication festival. It's certainly not because Judah is the firstborn tribe, so to speak. That honor falls to the tribe of Reuben. Judah is really fourth in the pecking order after Shimon and Levi. It might be because Judah is the biggest tribe, but the rabbis are convinced that that's not the reason. They believe that there is something that Nachshon himself must have done in order to merit the honor of being called first for the offering. So what is that thing that Nachshon did that was so meritorious that it deserves this very huge reward? The answer is found in the Midrash, and I'm going to quote here first from Midrash Bamidbar Rabbah. According to the Midrash, God told Moses to have all the chieftains of the tribes make an offering for this dedication festival, 12 offerings, 12 days. But God forgot to tell Moses one little detail. What was the order of the offerings? Who was going to go first? So Moses, being a democratically inclined person, goes to the chieftains of the tribe, sits them down and says, hey, God gave me this instruction. We're going to have a 12-day festival. Each of you are going to make an offering on one of the days, but tell me who should go first. And unanimously, the chieftains nominate Nachshon. Why? Because he sanctified God's name at the Sea of Reeds. He is alone, the chieftains say, worthy of the Shekhinah, of God's divine presence descending down upon him. So that helps a little bit. Nachshon did something at the Sea of Reeds, something that was really meritorious, but what is that? The Midrash doesn't tell us, but fortunately in the Talmud, in Tractate Sota, we find out. According to tradition, many of you probably know this story, all the princes of the tribes were standing at the edge of the Sea of Reeds. They knew that Moses was going to give the order to go forward into the sea as God split it. They wanted the honor of being the first one to walk into the split sea. The problem was that Moses gave the order to go forward, but the sea hadn't split. And all of a sudden, all those princes who wanted to go first backed away from the edge of the sea, except for Nachshon ben Aminadav. Nachshon goes forward and plunges himself into the water. And the story goes, Nachshon went into the water. First he waded up to his knees, then in water to his waist, up to his chest, and still the sea wasn't splitting. All along, as Nachshon is getting deeper and deeper into the water, as his feet are sinking into the muck, he's reciting the words of a psalm. Save me, God, for the waters come in even unto my soul. I am sunk in deep mire where there is no standing. Let not the water flood overwhelm me, neither let the deep swallow me up. And still, Nachshon is reciting this prayer. He's walking further and further the water. Nothing is happening. Just keeps getting deeper. It comes all the way up to the bridge of his, or the bottom of his nose. And finally, the water begins to part. Nachshon continues across, now into the split sea. The Israelites follow, and God delivers them from the Egyptians. That's how Nachshon showed his courage in the time of danger. And that's how Nachshon earned the reward of being the first of the chieftains to make the dedication offering. So the lesson we usually take from this story is that courage, the example of Nachshon shows us, means plunging forward fearlessly into the water or into any difficult or dangerous situation we might encounter. Courage means not feeling fear even when everyone else around us is afraid. But when I look at this lesson a little bit more closely, I am convinced that this is not a very good or even a very realistic lesson to take from our story. We all know that fear is actually has a very important function in the human psyche. Fear is our brain's way, and really our body's way, because it's a whole integrated thing, of warning us that we might be in danger, that we need to be careful, we need to back off, we even need to run away from something that is dangerous. Fear is really one of our body's most powerful tools for keeping us alive. Yes, it can be very debilitating to be too fearful, but it can be even more dangerous to be fearless. People who are fearless when everyone else is afraid sometimes do in fact turn out to be heroes, but far more often they turn out to be fools who get themselves or others hurt or even killed. It's very clear from the story that the Talmud tells us that Nachshon is not fearless. He's so afraid of wading into the water, he keeps up this fervent prayer to God with every step as it gets deeper and deeper. What makes Nachshon a hero is that he acts bravely even though he's afraid. The courage of Nachshon, then, is really the same courage as the courage of the cowardly lion. It's the kind of courage that we can all aspire to emulate. It's the kind of deliberate courage that gets us across the sea, not the kind of reckless courage that's likely to get us killed. We get a lot of messages from our culture that fear is a bad thing, that a true hero has to have ice water in his or her veins, that he or she should feel no fear no matter what the situation. That kind of courage is not real. That exists, that kind of courage, in the movies, in television only, or in the stupid risks that people take to prove that they're not scared of anything, and you know how that usually goes. Real courage starts with allowing ourselves to feel fear and not to be ashamed of it. Real courage means listening to the warnings our fear is giving us and then deciding how, in spite of those warnings, we should go forward. Real courage means finding a way to do what must be done even though we are afraid, and allowing ourselves to feel a sense of true accomplishment in knowing that we can live with fear and do heroic things. Shabbat Shalom. Let's go now to the Musaf service. As usual, find it beginning in our blue and gray seated ream, page 155. If you're able to, please rise as Noah leads us. Chatzi Kaddish. Amen. Yehi Shmeira B'Mevarach. Yolam Olam El Maya. Yitbarach.
Ibarak fish to bar fish to arbit and mave na sevi at the darby to la fish to la smir gudisha.
Recho.
Elamin kobakata beshi rata. Pushpahata menachamata mama mimaru.
Amen. Noah will lead us in the beginning of the Musaf Amidah. We'll continue together with him, 156b and 157, then individually pages 158 through 161.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu Elohei Avoteinu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el HaGadol HaGibor VeHanora, Elyon, Hamelech Chasadim Tovim V'Konei Hakol, V'Zocher Chasdei Avot, V'Bilah B'nei B'neihem, L'man Shmo V'Yahava, Melech L'Zer Faked U'Mashiach U'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Abraham V'Ket Sarah, Atah Gibor Olam Adonai, Mechayei Meitim Atah, Ra Lehoshia, Mechalkel Chaim B'Chesed, Mechayei Meitim B'Rachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim V'Rovech Olim, U'Matir Asurim, Umekayem emunato Hishenei afar Michamocha bar Yehurot Umidam melech Melech mimit umechayef Umatzmiach Yeshua V'ne'eman atachayot metim Baruch atah Adonai Mechayei hametim Naritzcha v'nadishcha Kesotziach tzarfei kodesh Hamakishim Shimcha b'kodesh Kakatuv al yaneviyecha V'kara zel ze v'amar Kadosh, Kadosh, Kadosh Adonai Tzebaot Melech haaretz kevodo Kevodo Malei olam Mishat Shoalim Zelaze Ayeh Mekom Kevodo Umatam Baruch Yameru Baruch Kevod Adonai Mimkomo Mimekomo Hu Yifen Berachamim Vayachon Am Yachadim Shemo Erev V'Boker B'chol Yom Tamid Pamayim Yahweh Shema Omrim Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Hu Eloheinu Hu Avinu Hu Malkeinu Hu Moshienu Hu Eloheinu Hu Avinu Hu Malkeinu Hu Moshienu Vehu Yashmienu Berachamav Sheni Tzeyenei Chochai Eyot Lachem Elohim Ani Elohechem Udivrei Kadcha Katuv Lemor Imloch Hanai Leolam Ohai Etzion Ledor Vador Hallelujah Ledor vador,
Ledor vador,
ledor vador,
Ledor vador,
ledor vador, nagi gad lecha. Ledor vador,
Ledor vador,
ledor vador,
Ledor vador,
ledor vador, nagi gad lecha. Ulenetzach netzachim, kedushatcha nahtish, kedushatcha nahtish. ושבחך אלוהינו מפינו לא ימוש לעולם ועד. לדור ודור,
Ledor vador,
לדור ודור,
Ledor vador,
לדור ודור נגיד לך. לדור ודור,
Ledor vador,
לדור ודור,
Ledor vador,
לדור ודור נגיד לך. כי המלך גדול, גדול וקדוש, גדול וקדוש אתה. כי המלך גדול, גדול וקדוש, גדול וקדוש אתה. ברוך אתה אדוני, האל הקדוש. choice.
If you're still finishing up with the Amidah, feel free to continue. If you're already done, page 181, Kaddish Shalem.
Yirah Hashem Rabba, Amen. B'Hamad Yivachoteh V'Michmachoteh, B'Chaychonim V'Michonim Chelcho B'Yisrael, B'Rab B'Zman Kriyim Yimeru.
Amen.
Yeshme Rabba Mevorach, Ya'alamo Me'amaya, Yipara. Barak V'Tavar V'Tavar V'Taman V'Yitnaseh, V'Yatadar V'Tavar V'Tavar Shmin Kudesha, Brechu Le'ela Minko Bechata V'Shirata, U'Shvachata V'Nachamata Dama Yimeru. Amen. Yitabal Soton V'Oton D'Chol Yisrael, Kadam Avhoni V'Shmayim Yimeru. Amen. Eshna Rabba V'Min Shemai V'Chaim, Aleinu V'Hakol Yisrael Yimeru. Amen. Oseh Shalom B'Mromav, Yaseh Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru imru Amen. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru Amen.
Join Noah for Enk Eloheinu, page 182.
Enk Eloheinu, Enk Adonenu, Enk Elokeinu, Enk Moshienu, Mik Eloheinu, Mik Adonenu, Mik Elokeinu, Mik Moshienu, Nodel Eloheinu, Nodel Adonenu, Nodel Malkeinu, Nodel Moshienu, Baruch Eloheinu, Baruch Adonenu, Baruch Malkeinu, Baruch Moshienu, Atahu Eloheinu, Atahu Adonenu, Atahu Malkeinu, Atahu Moshienu, Atahu Shetiru, Avodeinu,
If you're able to, please rise for Aleinu.
Aleinu leshabeach ladon hakol, v'atei kedula liotzer breshit, shelo asanu k'goyei haratzot, v'lo samanu b'shpat adama, shelo sam chelkenu kahem, V'gor aleinu kechol hamonam, v'anachnu korim, u'mishtachavim u'modim, lifnei melech malchei hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. הכתוב בתורתך, נמלך לעולם ועד, ונאמר, וחיה אדוני, למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא, יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
This is the 12th day of the month of Sivan. We mark the following yard sites: Dorothy Barrett, Louis Bergman, Joseph Fleiss, Benjamin Goldfeder, Bernard Cashton, Helen Leibowitz, Fanny Maron, Phyllis Schildkraut, Deborah Wasserman, and Bobby Zucker. May their memories be for a blessing. If you're a mourner, if you're observing a yard site, if you'd like to say Kaddish with us for any reason, please join me. You'll find Mourner's Kaddish on page 184. Yit Gadal v'yit Kadash Shemei Rabbah Be'alma Divrach Irutei V'yamlich Malchutei B'chayechon U'vyomechon U'chayei Dechol Beit Yisrael Bagala U'vizman Kari V'imru Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah Mevarach Le'olam Ulomei Olmaya Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpoar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei d'kudesha b'rechu le'elam min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata damiran b'yoma v'yimru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya V'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom v'imru ma huya aseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. And as always, it's my pleasure to call upon our president, Bruce Heimowitz, for this morning's announcements.
Thank you to the cheering community. Thank you, Rabbi Khan. In no order, first of all, good Shabbos, everyone. Good to see everyone on this June 11th day. I'd like to thank Rabbi Khan for leading us in this morning's services, plus a few other people that helped and participated as well. Our head Gabbai, Gene Brickman, Shay Lerner, and Alan Furman. Yashikol, thanks for helping out as always here. The davening preliminary, Yashikol Chal Mo Allen. For Shacharit, Murray Kleiner. Murray did double duty today. For our Gabbais on the beamer, Murray Kleiner and Michael Prager. Our Torah reader, Karet Strauss Factor. Our Haftorah reader, Yair Ramani. And our Noah learner for davening Musaf today, Yasha Kotolia, and Rabbi for his Devar Torah and sermon. A couple of announcements. I know the flyer is not correct, but this evening, Ma'ariv Havdalah service Saturday, June 11th, will be at 8:30 p.m. It's not going to be 8:15. It's at 8:30. That's the correct time. Tomorrow morning, Sunday morning, we have a couple of events. Men's Club Irving Weingarten morning minion and breakfast, and at 9:30 we're going to have our sandwich making, which will be in the youth corner. And our rabbis has his PJ chefs class as well, PJC chefs. Tomorrow evening, 7 p.m., the FJMC Federation of Jewish Men's Clubs has their virtual gala. And I must say I'm proud to announce that we have 3 honorees. Jeff Reese is Men's Club honoree, Man of the Year. And our 2 youth honorees, one goes to Yoni Khan, son of Rabbi Khan, and Eliana, thank you. Eliana Tucker is the daughter of, granddaughter of beloved Beryl Quicken, and also daughter of Marcy Fogel and Mark Fogel. All right, whatever. Well, Yashikov, and glad to see that. Coming up Monday, we just got the Torah Fund. You see the flyer out in the hall. A Chai celebration. Sisterhood is having. Cantor Merrick will be here singing as well. That'll be at 8:15 in person at PJC. Wednesday, we have an adult mini ed course at 8:30 p.m. And next Friday, we have a couple of nice events here. One is actually an ongoing event which happens monthly and whatnot. It's 5:30 p.m. is a musical Tat Shabbat. And at celebration of Pride Month, at 6:30 p.m., we're going to have our first Pride Shabbat service here at PJC. 6:30, there'll be drinks and snacks, services after, and then they'll have an oneg after that. Then we'll be back here Saturday. 6:16 during the week, Sisterhood Women of Achievement. We're honoring Plainview Jewish Center's own Blaine Peltzman, who will be the incoming co-president along with Barbara Burst. Barbara, stand up so everyone knows who you are. I'm sure everyone does know here, but the people on live stream. So congratulations. Congratulations on becoming upcoming co-president. Men's Club, the following Tuesday, will be having their awards celebration and end-of-year barbecue. And again, I know it's on the monitor outside. Ad nauseum, we keep on mentioning it. It happens to be my birthday. Mel, I understand it's your birthday too that day, right? June 26th? So this is a very important event here at PJC. We have a welcome back journal. Come celebrate with us as everyone welcomes back with a brunch. By all means, on the back is an ad sheet. Please try and take out an ad if you can't come. It helps support the synagogue. It's going to be a fun morning, fun event. It's a little different because there's no specific honoree, but we're just honoring everyone. And I guess that calls it to an end, because otherwise they're going to start to call me Charlie, you know, with the long announcements. I don't want to be that. Huh? Huh? Yeah. Maybe we should have a fundraiser for over and under during the summer services, I was thinking. All right, so good Shabbos, everyone. Great seeing it. And we'll be having, in the ballroom, we'll be having a kiddush as well. Good job, Charlie. Charlie who?
Okay. Just a couple just little emphases, and then we'll move on. I would be remiss in not pointing out tomorrow, Monday night's program with Cantor America and the Torah Fund. She's been very excited about sharing her story about her journey from Israel, her journey to becoming a Cantor. So if you're attending the Torah Fund, you're in for a treat. Wednesday night, Adult Ed is actually in person. We're trying something different. Right after Minyan, which is also happening this week. Evening Minyans again Monday through Thursday at 8 o'clock. Please join us in person if you can. This week's Adult Ed is in conjunction with Pride Shabbat. We're going to be talking about Judaism and gender. It's a really much more interesting and complicated topic than I realized. So please join me at 8:30 right after Minyan. And of course, you don't have to have a quote-unquote skin in the game to be here for Pride Shabbat. Pride Shabbat is really a statement by our congregation that we want to be inclusive and welcoming of all people, and that means we need to be represented well as a congregation. We would love to have you here. Cantor America's working with a pianist. She's got some great musical stuff. We've got some good food that we'll be serving, and just I think we'll be PJC at its best. So I really hope you can join us for that. We're going to conclude our service, page 187, Adon Olam. That will be followed right here, as usual, by Kiddush and Hamotzi.
Adon Olam Asher Ma'ala B'terem Kol Yetzir Nivra Li'er Nasa B'chefso Kol Hazai Melech Shemo Nikra V'yacharei Kichlot HaKol Levado Imloch Nora Vehu Haya Vehu Bove Vehu Yeh Betifara Vehu Echad V'yein Sheni Lehamishilo Leachbira Beli Reishit Beli Tachlit Velo Haoz V'Hamisra Vehu Eli V'chai Goali V'tzor Chavli B'Yitzara Vehu Nisi Umanos Li Menad Kosi B'Yom Ekra B'Yado Afid Ruchi B'Eit Ish Shan ve'ha'ira ve'im ruchi geviati Adonai li ve'lo ira.
If you're able to, please rise. Al Kain Beirach Adonai et Yom HaShabbat Vaykadshehu Savrim Ranan V'Rabanan V'Rabotai L'chaim Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam Borei Peri HaGafen. Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam Asher Kitshanu B'tzvotav V'tzivanu Al Netilat Yadayim. Please join us for Hamotzi. Mary is filling in for our challah handler today. Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam Hamotzi Lechem Min Haaretz. Amen. And everybody, Shabbat Shalom. Reminiscent of the altar sacrifice, all the offerings were salt.
Merle. Another fine job.
This direction to come up here.
We got the entire line. Lead off.
Want to start all
Second,
over?
that third.
Remember, don't write the words white shoes. You have to wear them till Labor Day. You have to Labor Day. You can wear the white shoes.
Remember, I am a
You
fashion.
can also wear white. You can also wear white pants. All right.
We've done a blind taste test here in town.
It's not wearing
I got different. I switched from briefs to boxes. I feel much better.
The radon. The Meadowlands.
Hackensack River.
Bruce, come on.
I'm coming.
John Murray.
You might be on camera.
Okay, sorry.
Let's talk about the simple stuff. She did the schedule. You're doing Monday, I'm doing Tuesday, you're doing Wednesday, you're doing Thursday. From
What the hell?
the
I won't be.
other backup. I'll be here Monday, you'll be here the next 2 Mondays for sure. Tuesday, I don't need backup. But you should be actually right, because there's nothing really different than we've done. But Robert, you're
I should be here unless something weird happens. I'll be here Wednesday.
Okay.
I might be here Monday too, but I'm sure I'll be here Wednesday.
I mean, I never use my cell phone, but it's what you're saying. I already have the password because I did it.
You don't even need that. Well, you don't need the broadcast. All you need to do is monitor the feed. So you just
That's
do
what
it.
it is with my
You
cell
don't,
phone.
yeah, you don't even have to go. You don't have to do anything other than be on the Facebook page and just be inside the feed.
She thinks you have to check every one of them, and you know, two answers, I'll correct that. And it's still not be beautiful. So make sure we have a menu between the two, and again, she should, it's a, people to, you know, is anybody around, and again, she'll let the railway, I mean, I'm gonna try to be home, listen to it. And.
Should we just assume that people, that we're gonna have to have an image?
No, for sure, we have to do something.
Then we're gonna say, well, yeah, but,
What if there's some?
You have people who you don't do the 3 or 4 things which are indicated in my instructions that you don't do.
I mean, it never really happens. Sometimes we have to skip our because at the end of the service.
Right.
But by the time, people reach out.
Yeah, Alan's pretty good at
It's
texting.
not
Yeah.
Much of us.
Morning, sometimes we have a little bit more of an issue, but we always make it. I think we very seldom have an issue.
guests or anybody with it, but my wife is, you know, almost always around, so, you know,